just talking about something that is exciting about law, the movies, the drama that is in the movies, these big court cases. And while that may be fun to watch, putting yourself into that situation and thinking about what that would be like is not something I would be interested in going through, right? So watching Aaron Brockovich, for instance, or one of these law movies is, like I said, fun to watch and interesting. But I think a lot of people steer clear of moving forward with any kind of action because they're afraid of that level of attention.
Right, and that's true. People have that fear, and you generally don't have to worry about that. Most of the time when a case ends up in court, it is not because we can't decide on what the damages are. Usually it's because there is a dispute over who caused the accident.
Okay.
So if there's a liability problem, then we may end up in a situation where there's court, but most of the time there isn't. Most of the time it's the rules of the road are pretty clear. Unless you've really got a he said, she said situation and no witnesses and no physical evidence to support one side over the other.
That's very rare.
It's really rare. So that is highly unlikely.
Okay.
So if you've got one of those cases, you'll know from the outset. So you will know that, they're saying I'm at fault and your insurance company is disputing maybe whether or not they should cover your vehicle, that kind of thing.
Okay.
But if that's not your case, most of the time you're not going to end up in court.
And that's just, again, to reiterate, that's just out of, it's just very expensive for insurance companies to go to court. I mean, once it goes to court, ending this quickly and with the least amount of money possible is really in their interest.
Yeah, insurance companies want low settlements quickly.
Mm-hmm.
Personal injury clients want high settlements quickly.
Right.
I tell people you can have fair or fast, but not both.
Okay.
So generally speaking, we take the time to get it right, and you'll get a decent settlement. Usually it just takes patience and hard work.
Yeah, that's the thing. That's the amount of work that goes into it is, I'm sure, no small feat. Now, I always think of someone going to court, if it ever went to that, which is only 4%, as we've learned, that person is taking an insurance company to court.
Yeah, so that's a common misconception that if we're suing after a car accident or a slip and fall, that we're suing, say, State Farm or Allstate.
Mm-hmm.
We're not. We're suing the person who caused the accident in their name, and an insurance company is behind them. So the insurance company pays for their lawyer and pays for their damages if there are any. So anything they have to pay to you comes from the insurance company, but the insurance company's name is not on the lawsuit. And that makes it tricky, actually, because when there's a trial, the jury doesn't realize, possibly, that there's an insurance company. We're not allowed to tell them, an insurance company is going to pay for this.
Okay.
We have to sort of
why
pretend.
Is that?
I think there's a concern that if jurors are thinking about an insurance company paying...
Because it's faceless?
Because it's faceless and it's
company?
deep pockets. They're afraid that damages will be higher.
Okay.
So I think that's why.
So do you actually assess the defendant, the person that you sue, and how they come across as well?
Yes, absolutely. And so when we have mediation, which is one of the places where we do settle, I will talk to the defense lawyer about, your driver was not likable, he wasn't credible, he was defensive, it's a rear-end accident, and then he had all these excuses. We'll talk about that, and that's definitely a factor.
What about after-the-fact behavior? When you're talking about the accident, I know lots of people and police officers will advise you to stay calm and cool.
Yes.
Don't talk,
yeah.
Except for to get each other's information, walk away, and lawyers will tell you that too, I think, right?
Absolutely.
If someone doesn't do that, and will that hurt them in the end?
Well, it's all impression, right? So when we're evaluating cases, we're always thinking about what would a jury think of this person.
Okay.
We're probably not going to get there, but if we did, what would they think? And, if you rear-end somebody and then you berate them,
right,
chances are you're not going to look as good to the jury as if you're, you don't necessarily have to apologize, but you just need to be at least concerned and polite and thoughtful.
And, I've never been at fault in a collision. I've been in several, and my first concern right away, because it's just cars, is the person and whether or not they're okay.
Right.
And I think that's a good lesson.
And a lot of times people come to me outraged because of the behavior of the other driver, and maybe they would never even come to a lawyer if that scene had been different.